Part 1: The Aurora's Veil. The cosmos is a vast, unforgiving theater. Every star a spotlight, every planet a mysterious stage. And there I was, pushing my way through this celestial play aboard the freighter Anglerfish, named with the irony that only spacefarers appreciate. It wasn't much to look at, more rust than ship, more memory than machinery. But for me, Captain Elias Mercer, it was home. The voice of my navigator, Petra, crackled over the comms. Elias, did you really mean to take us this close to the veil, or are you just trying to scare me? Her words were as dry as the sand oars of Delta Zeta. Always wanted to see what's behind the curtain, I replied, adjusting the controls. The Aurora's Veil, a cosmic anomaly of swirling auroras and magnetic storms, lay ahead in a riot of shifting colors that defied description. It danced with an electric grace, as beautiful as it was deadly. Petra chuckled, more static than sound. You know, they say nothing good comes from the veil. Ships go in, and if they come out, they're never quite the same. I'd say we fit that bill, I quipped, feeling the ship shudder. Anglerfish was overdue for 100 repairs, but she had character, like a grizzled old dog that refused to die. As we approached, the ship's proximity alarms blared in a symphony of red lights. Another day, another near-death experience, I muttered, my hands dancing over the controls like a conductor of chaos. That's when I saw it, a derelict ship, half devoured by the veil's maw. It was massive, with the elegant lines of a capital frigate, abandoned yet somehow ominous. Petra, get eyes on that wreck. On it, she replied. The scanner's hum was soothing, almost musical, and then the screen filled with data. Frigate class, no life signs. Markings suggest it belonged to the Orion Syndicate. Orion Syndicate, notorious criminals and worse, yet they had a peculiar vendetta against yours truly. This ship should have been crawling with them, yet it drifted silently, a ghostly hulk caught in the Aurora's clutches. Perfect, I muttered, intrigued yet wary. Let's board it, see what our friends left behind. Petra snorted, ever the optimist. I'll get the airlock ready. Anglerfish docked with a clumsy grace, and I armed myself, a plasma cutter in one hand, a nervous heartbeat in the other. The frigate's corridors were eerie, silent except for the distant hum of residual power. Shadows played tricks on my eyes, and I wished I had Petra's nerves of steel. I moved carefully, each step echoing as if the ship were whispering secrets. In the mess hall, a collection of alien artifacts caught my eye, glistening under flickering lights. One in particular, a crystalline sphere, seemed to pulse gently. I reached out, compelled by some unseen force. That's when I heard it, a low, guttural growl. My heart skipped a beat. Here was the twist, something was alive after all. Out of the shadows emerged something I'd never seen, a creature, all sinew and shimmering scales, with eyes that glowed like twin suns. It watched me with an unsettling intelligence. Hello there, I said, raising my plasma cutter defensively. Nice place you have here. In response, the creature tilted its head, curious rather than hostile. It had a mouth, I realized, but no words. Its sounds were musical, a melody of clicks and hums. Easy, big fella, I soothed, backing away slowly. It followed, graceful, deliberate. I got the distinct impression it didn't want me dead, not yet anyway. As I retreated, my comms crackled to life. Elias, what's going on in there? Petra's voice was a lifeline. Found a new friend, I replied, pulse quickening. I think he wants to show me something. Or eat you, Petra retorted. Hurry it up, this place gives me the creeps. The creature led me not to a gruesome end, but to the ship's bridge. The main console flickered feebly, and in the center of the room, an ominous device pulsed in synchrony with the veil outside. I stepped closer, feeling the hairs on my neck stand tall. The device was ancient, alien, humming with dormant power. I felt its pull, an invitation wrapped in a riddle. Elias, what are you seeing? Petra asked, her voice tinged with worry. I hesitated, torn between the promise of discovery and the lure of survival. Something important, I replied, more to myself than Petra. My hand moved almost against my will towards the device. In that moment the frigate shuddered violently, tossed by the veil's grasp. The creature growled in alarm, its eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that spoke volumes. Protect it, they seemed to say. Time to go, Petra urged, breaking the spell. I turned away reluctantly, resolving to survive first, solve mysteries later. We made a hasty retreat, the creature a silent specter in the shadows. As I sealed the airlock behind us, anglerfish pulled away just as the veil surged, engulfing the frigate in a cascade of light. "Did you get what you need?" Petra asked, her tone both annoyed and relieved. "More questions than answers, as usual," I sighed, collapsing into my seat. "But I think we found something big." The veil loomed large behind us, a tapestry of chaotic beauty, and with it, a new mystery. I couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. After all, a good play always leaves you wanting more. Part 2: Whispers in the Dark. Back on Anglerfish, I couldn't shake the image of that crystalline sphere or the strange creature's eyes. The ship's cockpit was a comforting chaos of lights and dials, framing the expansive view of the Aurora's veil as it receded into the cosmos behind us. Yet my mind was miles away, adrift with thoughts as nebulous as the veil itself. Petra was silent, focused on the controls, but I could feel her curiosity radiating like a star's heat. "So," she finally said, a hint of mischief in her voice, "are you going to tell me what you found, or do I have to guess?" "An ancient artifact, possibly a beacon or a key," I mused, leaning back in my chair, "and a creature that seemed more guardian than beast. Whatever that device was, it felt important." "A key to what?" she asked, brow arched. In the dim cockpit light, her eyes were sharp, inquisitive. "That's what we need to find out." I drummed my fingers on the edge of the console, a rhythm of contemplation. The Orion Syndicate doesn't abandon treasure ships lightly. They were onto something, and that something is in the veil. Petra nodded, absorbed in her own thoughts. Outside, stars streamed past like grains of sand in a celestial hourglass, reminding us that time was a luxury we rarely had. Our next stop was the bustling hub of the Andromeda Trade Station, its massive ring structure spinning slowly against the backdrop of infinity. Neon lights flickered in the void, spelling out messages in a hodgepodge of languages. It was a place where you could buy anything from a stellar map to a new identity, if you had the credits. We docked without incident, the anglerfish settling into its berth like a tired traveler. Petra and I disembarked, our boots clanging against the metallic walkway. The station's interior was a riot of sights, sounds, and smells, a sensory overload that was somehow comforting in its familiarity. As we navigated the bustling corridors, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The Syndicate never left loose ends, and our involvement with their lost frigate wouldn't go unnoticed. My instincts were on high alert, every shadow a potential threat. We made our way to a secluded bar tucked away in the station's underbelly. It was dimly lit, the air thick with smoke and murmured conversations, the kind of place where deals were made and secrets exchanged. Petra scanned the room, her gaze settling on a man sitting alone at a corner table. He was rugged, with a face like weathered stone and eyes that had seen too much. "That's our contact," she said, leading the way. I approached with cautious confidence, sliding into the seat opposite him. "Captain Elias Mercer," I introduced myself, extending a hand. "You must be Boone." Boone nodded, his grip firm and brief. "I hear you found something interesting," he said, his voice a gravelly whisper. "Word travels fast," I replied, leaning forward. "We need information, the kind that doesn't come cheap." Boone considered me for a moment, then shrugged. "Depends on what you're offering." I placed a small chip on the table, a recording of the device from the frigate. Boone picked it up, scrutinizing it with a practiced eye. "This could be valuable," he admitted, "but dangerous. Syndicate won't like you poking around." "That's never stopped us before," Petra interjected, her smile sharp as a blade. Boone chuckled, low and rumbling. "All right, I'll see what I can find, but be careful, the veil hides more than just Syndicate secrets." As we left the bar, I felt a surge of anticipation. The stakes were rising, and the thrill of the unknown was a siren's call I couldn't resist. Yet the nagging feeling of being watched persisted, a shadow clinging to my thoughts. We returned to Anglerfish, the station's lights fading as we drifted away. Petra was silent, her focus on the readouts. "You think Boone will come through?" she asked after a moment. "I've learned to trust informants about as far as I can throw a neutron star," I admitted, "but he has a reputation for knowing things others don't." Petra nodded, her demeanor both reassuring and resolute. "Then it's time we find out just what we're dealing with." Our journey took us deeper into uncharted space, where stars were fewer and mysteries were manifold. My mind was awash with possibilities and the ever-present fear of what lay ahead. Yet beneath the layers of caution, there was excitement, the thrill of the chase, the unraveling of secrets older than stars. We set course for a nebula on the fringes of the veil, a swirling maelstrom of gas and light known as the Shimmering Crypt, rumored to conceal remnants of a civilization lost to time. If the artifact was a key, perhaps this was the lock. The anglerfish skimmed the nebula's edge, its sensors probing the ethereal clouds. Suddenly, alarms sang a discordant note, and Petra cursed under her breath. Unidentified craft closing in, fast. I glanced at the readings, heart ski. Peeping a beat, pirates or worse. With a grim determination, I swung the ship around, readying it for action. The void crackled with energy as we engaged, a dance of evasion and defense. The pursuing ship was sleek, predatory, a hunter in the night. "Hold tight," I called, the anglerfish shuddering under fire. We twisted through the nebula's tendrils, our path a maze of electrified trails, each maneuver a gamble, each second a battle against the inevitable. Petra managed the weapons, cool and precise. "Returning fire," she announced, the ship's cannons blazing in retort. It was a symphony of chaos, the stakes higher than gravity itself. In the midst of this, a sudden transmission crackled through, unexpected and clear. "Captain Mercer, stand down, you're in over your head." The voice was unfamiliar, but the threat was obvious. "Who are you?" I demanded, keeping an eye on the twisting tapestry of combat. "Consider me a warning," the voice replied. "The veil is not yours to uncover." With that, the enemy ship peeled away, vanishing into the nebula as swiftly as it came. A tactical retreat or a strategic move, I couldn't be sure. The silence that followed was heavy, a pause in the cosmic drama. I glanced at Petra, her expression mirroring my own mix of relief and trepidation. "Seems like Boone's not the only one interested in our find," she said, her words an understatement of cosmic proportions. I nodded, thoughts racing. The stakes were higher than I'd imagined, and the mystery of the veil more labyrinthine than ever. Yet amid the uncertainty, a singular truth emerged. There was no turning back. The stage was set, the players in motion, and as anglerfish sailed into the unknown, I felt a thrill that was both exhilarating and terrifying. The veil's secrets awaited, and with them, our destiny. Part 3: Echoes of the Forgotten. Drifting through the shimmering crypt felt as though we were ghosting through echoes of a forgotten dream. The nebula wrapped the anglerfish in a kaleidoscope of colors that danced across her hull like whispers of ancient souls eager to tell their stories. I leaned against the cockpit's rail, absorbing the ethereal beauty cascading around us. Petra was silent beside me, her attention divided between the controls and the sensors scanning the nebula's depths for anything unusual, or, given our track record, dangerous. The encounter with the mysterious ship still haunted my thoughts. Their warning lingered, a puzzling threat from an unknown adversary. Yet it also fueled my resolve, a clear signal that we were onto something significant, something worth hiding. A soft chime interrupted my reverie. "Captain, there's an anomaly up ahead," Petra said, her voice cutting through the ambient hum. Her fingers danced over the console, bringing up a visual of a structure hidden within the nebula's heart. I focused on the screen. There, shrouded in the cosmic mist, was a massive construct, a megastructure so immense it dwarfed everything around it. It resembled a titanic latticework of gleaming metal and stone, an intricate web infused with the nebula's radiant hues. We approached cautiously, the anglerfish creeping forward as if aware of the sanctity of this ancient place. The structure pulsed with a faint luminescence, casting spectral shadows that flickered like sentinels. "Any life signs?" I asked, my curiosity mingled with caution. Negative, Petra replied, her gaze fixed on the readings. But there's energy here, something powerful, older than anything we've seen. I nodded, my pulse quickening with the promise of discovery. Prepare for landing. Let's see what secrets the ancients left behind. The anglerfish settled onto an outcropping of the structure with a gentle thud, its landing gear hissing in the thin atmosphere. We donned our suits, stepping out into a world untouched by time, where every surface was a canvas painted by the universe itself. The air was charged with an energy I felt in my bones, a silent hum that resonated with the crystalline sphere we'd found earlier. I reached for it instinctively, feeling its pulse align with that of the megastructure. Petra watched, fascinated. You think this is the lock? She asked, her voice a low murmur in the stillness. It's possible, I said, moving towards a central nexus that glowed with otherworldly light. Let's find out. The nexus was a massive archway, its intricate carvings telling stories of a civilization long gone. The air shimmered as we approached, and I placed the sphere into a recessed alcove at its center. Nothing happened at first, but then slowly, the entire structure began to vibrate, the energy building to a crescendo that sang through the air like cosmic music. Lights flared to life, illuminating the archway in a breathtaking display of engineering and art. Petra and I exchanged a glance, a mix of awe and trepidation. It's activating, she whispered, her excitement tempered by the unknown. Before we could react further, the archway shimmered, and a projection materialized, an alien figure, ethereal and majestic. Its form shifted between solidity and light, eyes wise and knowing. It spoke in a language that was both foreign and familiar, its tone resonant with authority. We are the architects, it intoned, its voice echoing through the structure. Protectors of the veil, seekers of knowledge, you have awakened our legacy. I stood transfixed, recognizing this as the climax of our journey. What legacy? I asked, heart hammering. What is the veil truly? The projection regarded me with an intensity that transcended time. The veil is a bridge, it explained, a gateway to realms unseen, where the very fabric of reality can be woven anew. But it is fragile, and its power must be protected. Petra stepped forward, her voice steady. Why did you leave this behind? Our time ended, the architect replied, a note of sorrow touching its words. But our calling remains. To meddlers, the veil is perilous. To the worthy, it offers enlightenment. In that moment, the gravity of our discovery settled upon me like a cloak. The veil was more than an anomaly. It was a cosmic gift, a testament to the ingenuity and wisdom of those who came before. But there are those who seek to exploit it, the architect continued, its warning clear. Guardians must rise, or all will be lost. The projection faded, leaving us in a silence that reverberated with potential. I turned to Petra, her eyes reflecting the enormity of what we had learned. We have a responsibility, I said, the weight of the words surprising even me. The veil must be protected. Petra nodded, her expression resolute. Then let's make sure we're up to the task. With newfound purpose, we returned to the anglerfish, the sphere glowing soft. TLY in my hands, the structure receded behind us, a monument to our journey and a beacon for what lay ahead. As we ascended into the nebula's embrace, the path before us was clear. We were no longer mere explorers. We were guardians, entrusted with the veil's secrets and the hopes of an ancient race. The universe stretched out before us, a tapestry of light and shadow, and as we sailed into the unknown, I knew that the journey was only just beginning. The echoes of the forgotten were now our guide, and with them, we would forge a new destiny. Part 4: The Stars Between Us. The anglerfish glided out of the shimmering crypt with newfound purpose, yet the weight of our discovery pressed heavily on my mind. The stars outside winked knowingly, like keepers of cosmic secrets content in their silent vigil. Petra and I sat in the cockpit, the hum of the ship a soothing, familiar melody. Yet our silence was not the comfortable kind. We were both processing, each lost in thoughts of the veil and our unexpected roles as its guardians. So a gateway to other realms, Petra mused, breaking the quiet as she leaned back in her chair. Did you ever imagine we'd find something like that? Not in my wildest dreams, I admitted, a dry chuckle escaping my lips. But now that we have, the question is, what do we do with it? Petra's eyes met mine, serious and determined. We have to protect it, Elias, but we also need allies, people we can trust. We're not exactly equipped to handle this alone. I nodded, already considering the possibilities. The Orion Syndicate's interest in the frigate became clearer. They must have known something of the Veil's power, and if they were aware, others would be too. Who do we trust, though? I asked, more to myself than Petra. Everyone wants something, and this might be bigger than anything we've ever dealt with. Before Petra could respond, the comms crackled, pulling my attention to an incoming transmission. The screen flickered to life, revealing Boone's familiar visage, his expression as inscrutable as ever. "Captain Mercer," Boone began without preamble, "I've got news for you, bad and worse." I sighed, leaning forward. Let's hear it. I've always been a fan of bad news in space. Boone's lips twitched in what might have been a smile. "The good news, I've identified your mystery ship. They're part of a group known as the Watchers. Not much is known about them, but they have a reputation for safeguarding cosmic anomalies. They'll be watching every move you make." My pulse quickened at the revelation, and the worse news. "The Syndicate's put a bounty on your heads. They want that artifact, and they're not shy about how they get it." Petro exchanged a glance with me, our expressions mirroring a mix of dread and resolve. "Thanks for the heads up, Boone," I said, disconnecting the transmission. "Looks like we've made some new friends." Petra scoffed, rolling her eyes. "Fantastic, just what we needed, a mysterious cult and an angry crime syndicate on our tails." "We need a plan," I said, my mind already racing, "and perhaps a place to lay low for a while." Then it hit me, an idea as reckless as it was necessary: the derelict's haven. Petra raised an eyebrow. "The ship graveyard, I thought that was just a myth." "It's real enough," I confirmed, recalling tales from seasoned traders and spacers who swore by it. An asteroid field filled with the remains of ancient ships, supposedly untouched by time or scavengers. If anywhere could hide us, it was there. Without hesitation, I set our course, the anglerfish springing to life under my direction. Petra nodded, her trust implicit, her focus unwavering as we made the jump. The transition was seamless, and soon enough the haven loomed before us, a sprawling field of silent giants, ships of every make and model drifting in an eternal dance. The sight was breathtaking and eerie, a testament to the endless cycle of creation and decay. We slipped into the field, the anglerfish weaving through the maze of wrecks with practiced ease. Here, among the ghosts of the past, we could pause, regroup, and plan our next move. As the anglerfish nestled into a crevice formed by two ancient hulks, Petra and I began to assess our situation. The shimmer of distant stars peeked through gaps in the wreckage, a reminder of the universe's indifference to our plight. "We need allies," Petra repeated, her voice steady. "There's strength in numbers, and we can't do this alone." I nodded, considering our options. "I've got a few contacts who might help, or at least not turn us over for a quick credit. Let me see what I can rustle up." While I sent out discreet feelers through secure channels, Petra worked on fortifying our defenses, ensuring that the anglerfish was more fortress than freighter. We'd need every advantage we could get. The hours stretched on, the silence of the haven punctuated only by the soft pings of the comms and the rhythmic thrum of the ship's engines. As we worked, I thought of the Watchers, their mysterious motives. Were they allies or adversaries? And what would the Syndicate's next move be? Finally, a response crackled through. An old friend, Hal Cross, a mechanic with a knack for getting things done without drawing attention. We arranged a meet, his location far enough to discourage Syndicate interference, but close enough to reach without attracting undue notice. As we prepped the anglerfish for departure, I felt the weight of our task settling on my shoulders. The Veil. The artifact, the responsibilities of guardianship, all converged into a singular point of focus. Petra joined me at the cockpit, her presence a reassuring constant. "Ready to face the unknown again?" she asked, a playful lilt to her voice. I grinned, adjusting the ship's thrusters as we eased out of the haven. Always. After all, what's life without a little adventure? The anglerfish surged forward, leaving the graveyard behind as we forged ahead. Ahead lay new allies, new threats, and perhaps a deeper understanding of the Vale's mysteries. And as we journeyed through the star-streaked void, I realized that the path was clear. We were more than just explorers, more than just survivors. We were guardians of a legacy, protectors of a fragile bridge between worlds. The universe awaited, and with it, our destiny. Part 5. Through the Needle's Eye. The anglerfish carved its way through the ether, the ship's engines a soothing drone as we approached the Xandra Belt, where Hal Cross awaited us. This was a sector rife with legends and anomalies, where navigation required as much intuition as skill. Petra stood beside me, her gaze fixed ahead. "You think Hal's information will lead to the allies we need?" she asked, a hint of skepticism in her voice. "Hal's connected in circles most folks can't even whisper about," I replied. "If anyone can point us toward a sympathetic ear, or at least one willing to overlook a syndicate bounty, it's him." The belt emerged from the void, an intricate labyrinth of swirling asteroids and cosmic dust, a celestial battleground where gravity and chaos waged eternal war. The dense field demanded precision, a dance of navigation that only the most seasoned pilots dared attempt. We drifted into the belt's embrace, the ship's sensors alive with warnings and alerts. Anglerfish maneuvered deftly through the chaotic ballet, Petra's hands a blur over the controls as she guided us safely through the swirling mass. At the heart of the belt lay the Needle, an impossibly slender station wedged between two titanic asteroids. It was a relic from a forgotten age, its spires gleaming with the glow of 1,000 neon lights, an oasis amidst the chaos. We docked with the Needle metallic clangs echoing through the hull and stepped into the station's bustling heart. The air inside was charged with energy, a frenetic symphony of voices and clinking glasses, all underscored by the pulse of distant machinery. Hal greeted us with a broad grin, his eyes crinkling at the corners. He was as rugged as I remembered, a man carved from the same stone as the asteroids that surrounded us. "Elias, Petra long time," he rumbled, his handshake firm. "Thanks for meeting us," I said, returning his grin. "We could use a friendly face." Hal gestured us to a quieter corner of the station, where the hum of conversation faded to a murmur. "I've heard things," he began, lowering his voice. "The Syndicate's got its fingers in every pie, but you've piqued the interest of bigger players." "Such as," Petra prompted, leaning forward. "The Watchers," he continued, eyes narrowing. "They're not to be trifled with, but they're not your enemies, not if you play your cards right." I nodded, digesting the information. "And what about allies? Anyone out there who might stand with us?" Hal scratched his chin thoughtfully. "There's a group, the Free Armada. Pirates, exiles, but they've gone legitimate. They hate the Syndicate more than you do." He handed me a data chip, the surface glinting under the station's light. "Coordinates to their rendezvous. Just don't make any sudden moves, they're skittish." I pocketed the chip, gratitude mingling with a sense of urgency. "Thanks, Hal, we owe you one." Hal waved it away, a glint of mischief in his gaze. "Just keep the Syndicate off my tail, and we'll call it even." As we made our way back to the anglerfish, Petra and I reviewed our next move. The Free Armada was a gamble, but they could tip the scales in our favor if we could convince them of our cause. "Think they'll listen to us?" Petra asked, skepticism edged with hope. "We've got the truth on our side," I replied, setting our course, "and a little luck wouldn't hurt." We set off from the Needle, the belt releasing us from its grip as we forged ahead into uncharted space. The rendezvous point lay beyond known maps, a point of convergence for those who thrived on the fringes. As the hours slipped by, I pondered our journey, the Vale's mysteries a constant undercurrent in my thoughts. The universe held its breath, waiting for our next move. The meeting with the Free Armada was tense, the nebula where they hid alive with the energy of clandestine dealings. Their flagship, the Resolute, was an imposing silhouette against the swirling colors, a testament to their resilience and strength. We hailed them cautiously, and a gruff voice replied. "State your business," it demanded. I took a deep breath, the moment heavy with possibility. We come bearing news of the veil and an offer that could benefit us all. Silence stretched between the stars, and then the Resolute's captain came into view, a formidable woman with eyes like burning embers, her presence commanding. "You have 3 minutes, make it count." Petra and I exchanged a glance, then I began. "The Syndicate's gunning for us because we've uncovered an ancient artifact tied to the Aurora's veil, something unimaginably powerful." The captain's gaze sharpened. "And why should we care?" "Because the veil is more than an anomaly," I continued. "It's a gateway to other realms, guarded by the Watchers. Whoever controls it could control everything. We want to keep it safe and out of the Syndicate's hands." The captain's eyes flickered with interest, though her voice remained guarded. "You think we can help you, and in return—" "Freedom from the Syndicate's shadow," Petra interjected, her voice firm. "We can show you how to use the veil's secrets to level the playing field. Together, we could be stronger than the Syndicate ever imagined." Another moment of silence, the cosmos holding its breath. Then the captain spoke, her tone thoughtful. "You're either brave or foolish, but I've been called both. We'll give you a chance under our terms." Relief washed over me, tempered by the knowledge of what lay ahead. We had allies now, but the path was fraught with danger. As we moved to finalize our alliance, I felt a surge of determination. The Veil's secrets were our responsibility, and with the Free Armada, we might just stand a chance against the Syndicate's might. The universe awaited, a tapestry of opportunity and peril, and as we prepared for the next act in our unfolding saga, I knew one thing for certain: we were ready. Together, we would weave a destiny worthy of the Veil's promise. Part 6: Breaking the Chains. The Alliance was a tenuous thread in the vast fabric of space, but it was a thread woven with hope and defiance. The anglerfish and the Resolute drifted side by side, their crews mingling under the cover of a nebula that swirled with colors pulled from the dreams of gods. Petra and I stood aboard the Resolute's bridge, a place of controlled chaos and calculated precision. The captain, known now to us as Captain Aurora, was a force of nature, her presence as commanding as a supernova. "We've got intel on the Syndicate's next move," Aurora stated, her voice a low rumble that cut through the ambient noise. "They're planning to seize a key relay station in the Carina sector, one that could spread their influence across half the quadrant." "And you think the Veil could help us stop them?" Petra asked, arms crossed and eyes keen. Aurora nodded. "With your artifact, we could strike where they least expect, disrupt their operations, and weaken their hold." The plan was ambitious, dangerous, a high-stakes game that could change the balance of power. I glanced at Petra, her expression reflecting both excitement and caution. "We're in," I said, steeling myself for the storm to come. The Alliance moved swiftly, coordinating across ships and sectors. The Free Armada, a blend of pirates, exiles, and dreamers, buzzed with activity, their resolve as solid as the stars. As we prepped the anglerfish for the coming battle, Petra and I shared a moment of quiet in the ship's engine room. The steady thrum of the engines was a familiar comfort, a heartbeat that mirrored our own. "You ready for this?" I asked, knowing the answer but needing to hear it. Petra smirked, her confidence unshaken. "Always, you." I nodded, the weight of responsibility settling comfortably on my shoulders. We've come too far to turn back now. The anglerfish launched into the void, the Free Armada flanking us like wolves on the hunt. The Carina sector loomed ahead, a vast expanse of clustered stars and nebulae, a cosmic tapestry hiding secrets and dangers. As we approached the relay station, our sensors lit up with activity. The Syndicate was already there, their ships a dark cloud against the nebula's brilliance, engines flaring like angry suns. Captain Aurora's voice crackled over the comms, her tone both commanding and reassuring. "Remember the plan. We hit them fast and hard. Elias, you and Petra take out their security systems. Once that's done, we'll board and disable the station." Petra and I nodded in unison, adrenaline surging as we maneuvered the anglerfish into position. The Syndicate's ships zeroed in on us, their intent clear. The battle erupted in a blaze of light and sound, the anglerfish weaving through the fray with practiced agility. Plasma fire streaked across the void, illuminating the darkness with deadly beauty. Petra worked the controls with surgical precision, evading enemy fire while I focused on our target, the relay station's central hub. Almost there, I muttered, sweat beading on my brow. The anglerfish pierced the Syndicate's defensive line, all guns blazing. Petra's aim was true, her shots disabling the station's security systems in a cascade of sparks and smoke. "Systems down," Petra announced, her voice steady amidst the chaos. "Aurora, you're clear to move in." The Resolute surged forward, a juggernaut leading the armada, and soon the station was swarming with allies, their presence a tide that threatened to wash the Syndicate away. Inside the anglerfish, Petra and I navigated the debris-strewn field, the remnants of battle a testament to our resolve. Our comms crackled with updates, the voices of our allies weaving a tapestry of triumph and challenge. The Syndicate fought hard, but we fought harder, our unity a force they hadn't anticipated. As the last of their ships retreated, the relay station was ours, a victory etched into the stars. We docked with the station, the air thick with the scent of ozone and the echoes of battle. Aurora met us on the command deck, her expression fierce and proud. "We did it," she said, a rare smile gracing her features. Petra grinned, exhaustion mingling with elation. "The relay's ours, but the Syndicate won't take this lying down." "Let them come," Aurora replied, her voice a blade honed by experience. "We've shown them what we're capable of." As the armada secured the station, I felt the weight of our victory settle in, a victory that promised a shift in power, a chance to protect the Veil's secrets and wield them for good. And as the anglerfish sailed on, alongside the Resolute and our newfound allies, I knew that the universe was watching. The stars glittered with promise, and the path ahead was clear, one of freedom, discovery, and the forging of a new legacy. Together we would face whatever came next, our destinies intertwined with the cosmos. And as the stars stretched out before us, I felt a sense of belonging, of purpose that transcended space and time. The Veil awaited, and with it, the promise of a future worth fighting for. Part 7. The Silent Echoes. Victory claimed, the anglerfish drifted in the wake of the Free Armada's triumph, the relay station now a beacon of newfound resistance against the Syndicate's looming shadow. Yet in the quiet aftermath of battle, my mind was restless, turning over possibilities like stones revealing hidden truths beneath. Petra and I had returned to our ship, the laughter and camaraderie of our allies echoing distantly over the comms. I watched as she adjusted the controls, the familiar sight of her steady hands grounding me. "I'd say they're pretty pleased with us," Petra said, glancing up with that sly grin of hers, "though I suspect Aurora's already planning our next grand adventure." I chuckled, the tension of the battle easing into something softer, more hopeful. "She's got the vision, that's for sure, but we have a bigger puzzle to piece together." Her gaze shifted, the unspoken weight of the Veil's significance falling into the space between us. The Watchers, we need to understand their role in this. What are they really protecting? As if on cue, the anglerfish's comms flickered to life, a transmission breaking through the static. The voice was calm, measured, and undeniably familiar. "Captain Mercer, it seems your path and ours are due to converge." It was the Watchers, reaching out from their shadowy realm. I felt a jolt of recognition, the memory of their earlier warning lingering like the distant echo of a dream. "Why the change of heart?" I asked cautiously, the question hanging in the charged air. Petra watched, her eyes narrowed in concentration. "The balance has shifted," the voice continued. "You have shown your intent, your willingness to protect the Veil from exploitation. That is a quality we find compelling." A pause waited with unsaid implications. I exchanged a glance with Petra, her expression a mirror of my own mixture of skepticism and curiosity. "What do you want?" Petra asked, her tone careful, probing. "We need you to come to us," the Watcher replied. "There is something you must see, an ancient echo, a fragment of the Veil's true power, and a truth that may decide the fate of more than your quadrant. The transmission ended as abruptly as it had begun, leaving us in a silence vibrating with possibilities. My heart raced with an anticipation that bordered on fear. "We can't ignore this," I said, the decision already made. "If the Watchers are inviting us, we have to go." Petra nodded, her resolve as unshakable as ever. "Then let's see what secrets they're hiding." We relayed our intentions to Alara, her voice crackling with static as she cautioned us. "Be careful. The Watchers are an enigma, allies maybe, but their motives are their own." With that, the anglerfish set course for the coordinates the Watchers had provided, hidden deep within the Veil's swirling mists. The journey was a voyage into the unknown, each hyperspace jump bringing us closer to answers, as well as new questions. The Veil was an artist's canvas, colors blending and shifting in an ever-changing dance. As we penetrated its depths, the anglerfish sang with the energy of the cosmos, a vessel on the verge of revelation. We emerged into a space unlike any we'd encountered, a realm of tranquility and mystery, where time seemed to flow differently, space folding upon itself in gentle undulations. And there, amidst the luminous currents of the Veil, the sanctuary awaited. The Watcher's domain was a marvel of alien architecture, its structures organic and flowing, as if grown rather than built. Shimmering surfaces reflected the Veil's ever-changing hues, casting a kaleidoscope of light across the anglerfish's hull as we approached. We were greeted by an envoy, a Watcher whose presence was a serene command. Their form was ethereal, eyes deep as the void, and yet filled with an otherworldly warmth. "Welcome, Guardians," they intoned, their voice a melody of harmony and power. We followed the envoy through the sanctuary, each step a journey through eons of history preserved in holograms and murals, the legacy of a civilization dedicated to the protection of the Veil. And then we stood before it, a relic of immense significance, pulsing with the Veil's energy. It was an obelisk, inscribed with symbols that seemed to shift and change with the viewer's perception, a riddle written in the language of stars. "The Echo Obelisk," the envoy explained, their voice reverberating with reverence. "A fragment of the Veil's essence, preserved to guide and protect. Its voice can only be heard by those deemed worthy." The obelisk resonated with a song beyond sound, a whisper that reached into my soul, inviting, questioning, illuminating. I reached out, my hand brushing the surface. In that instant, visions cascaded through my mind, a torrent of knowledge and possibility, the Veil's true nature unfurling like a cosmic rose. I saw realms unfathomable, realities intertwined and layered like pages in a celestial book, and within that vastness, a shadow growing, encroaching, a warning of what could be lost. Petra's hand on my shoulder anchored me, her presence a lifeline in the maelstrom of visions. "What do you see?" she asked, her voice a gentle tether. "The Veil's more than a bridge," I breathed, the truth filling me with awe and purpose. "It's a heartbeat, a connection to all that was and could be, and we're its stewards, its protectors." As we stood there, the Watcher's gaze held ours, their purpose united with ours. We were not alone in this endeavor, nor were we mere explorers. We were guardians in the truest sense, bound to the Veil and its mysteries. The path forward was daunting, yet filled with promise. Together with the Watchers, we would defend the Veil, ensuring that its secrets remained a guiding light for the universe. And as we prepared to leave, a deeper understanding settled in my heart, a realization that the stars, ever watchful, were allies in our journey, their light a testament to the Veil's enduring power. The universe awaited, ready for us to etch our story in its vast expanse. And with the Veil as our guide, the echoes of the cosmos would forever be our companions. Part 8: Fires of Convergence. The anglerfish sailed away from the Watcher's sanctuary, the weight of newfound knowledge hanging in the cabin like an invisible anchor. Petra and I moved about the ship in contemplative silence, each absorbed in the magnitude of what we had learned. The Veil, more than a cosmic anomaly, was a linchpin in the fragile balance of our universe. Our course was set for the Carina sector, returning to the relay station now firmly under the Free Armada's control. Ilara had requested our presence. There was talk of a new threat, something far-reaching and unforeseen. We emerged from hyperspace into a scene of tranquil chaos, the station bustling with activity but peaceful in its newfound role as a hub of resistance. Petra steered us to an open berth, weaving through the Armada's ships with ease. Ilara met us in the station's command center, her expression a storm cloud of concern. Elias, Petra, she greeted us, her tone clipped with urgency. We've got a situation. We followed her to a holographic display, the sprawling map of star systems alive with pulsating lights marking Syndicate territories and their encroaching influence. But what drew my eye was a section rippling with a disturbance, a scar in the fabric of space. This area, Ilara pointed out, we're calling it the Rift. It appeared out of nowhere at the edge of Syndicate space. We've lost several scout ships in its vicinity. No distress signals, nothing. Petra frowned, her analytical mind already turning over scenarios. Are they attacking, or is it something else? Ilara shook her head. We don't know, but whatever it is, it's spreading, and it's not just affecting Syndicate regions. It's on a trajectory toward the Veil. The implications were clear and chilling. If this rift reached the Veil, the consequences could be catastrophic. My mind raced with possibilities, the visions from the Echo Obelisk echoing with a warning of shadows encroaching. We need to investigate, I said, the decision solidifying with the urgency of a nova. If it threatens the Veil, we have to stop it. Ilara nodded, her resolve matching ours. Take a team, find out what's going on out there. The Armada will hold the line here, but we're counting on you. We gathered a crew, a mix of free Armada members and watchers willing to aid our mission. Among them was an enigmatic navigator named Cypher, his presence a mystery wrapped in layers of quiet wisdom. His knowledge of cosmic phenomena was unparalleled, making him an invaluable addition. The anglerfish departed the station, its new crew settled and ready. The tension was palpable as we neared the coordinates of the rift, the space around us charged with an undercurrent of instability. Our approach was cautious, sensors scanning the anomaly. The rift was a swirling vortex of darkness and light, a tear in the universe's tapestry that pulsed with ominous energy. Cypher's voice, calm and studied, cut through the tension. This isn't natural. It's as if space itself is unraveling. We edged closer, the anglerfish vibrating with the cosmic energy surrounding us. The rift beckoned with a siren's call, its depths unfathomable and threatening. Detection of active fighting, Petra announced, her eyes fixed on the readouts. Looks like we're not the only ones interested in this thing. On the far side of the rift, Syndicate ships engaged with another fleet, Watchers, their distinct crafts weaving through the void in an elegant ballet of defense. The sight was mesmerizing, a clash of light and dark amid the cosmic maelstrom. We need to help them, I said, steering the anglerfish into the fray. Our ship joined the battle, Petra and Cypher coordinating as we engaged the Syndicate's forces, our weapons flaring in the void. The Watchers recognized us, their ships forming a protective phalanx as we pushed back against the Syndicate. The battle was intense, a testament to the stakes involved, but the combined force of our alliance began to turn the tide. As we fought, I glimpsed the heart of the rift, an indescribable presence, a consciousness reaching out, its touch like a lingering shadow across my mind. It was an intelligence, ancient and immense, its motives unfathomable, but its presence undeniable. We need to close it, Cypher shouted over the comms, his voice steely with determination. It's a breach, an incursion from beyond. How? Petra asked, her voice tight with urgency. The Echo Obelisk, Cypher replied. Its resonance can stabilize the tier, weave the fabric back together. Time was running out. The battle raged on, every moment precious. I knew what had to be done, the call of the Veil clear and resolute. We moved with precision, Petra guiding the anglerfish while Cypher prepared the obelisk's activation. The rift pulsed, a heartbeat of chaos, but slowly, the obelisk's energies began to suffuse the area, its harmonious song weaving through the discord. As the rift's edges shimmered, the intelligence within recoiled, its connection severed. The vortex began to shrink, the tear mending with each passing moment until it was but a whisper of its former self, fading into the ether. The battlefield fell silent, the Syndicate ships retreating into the void. We had succeeded, the threat neutralized, and the Veil's safety reaffirmed. As we regrouped, the Watcher's leader appeared on the comms, their eyes reflecting gratitude and understanding. "You have proven yourselves worthy allies, guardians of the Veil," they intoned. "Together, we shall protect what must be protected." The anglerfish, her crew united in purpose, turned back toward the welcoming arms of the Armada. The universe stretched out before us, a tapestry of endless possibilities, and as the stars watched over us, I knew our journey was far from over. The fires of convergence had been kindled, and with them, a new chapter in our story had begun. With allies at our side and the Veil as our guide, we stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, guardians of the path, protectors of the light. Part 9: Shadows of the Past. The anglerfish cruised through the tranquil aftermath of the rift's closure, its hull bathed in the muted glow of distant stars. Our unity with the Watchers and the Free Armada had forged a strength we never knew possible. Yet, within the serenity of our success, I sensed the quiet stirrings of unease, a whisper of unfinished business echoing in the corridors of my mind. Our victory had come with a cost, and questions lingered like shadows on the edge of light. The rift had been an anomaly, yes, but its appearance was not without purpose. Somewhere in the vast expanse, the answers to its origin and intent lay hidden, waiting to be uncovered. "How long until we reach the rendezvous?" Petra asked, her gaze fixed on the star-specked horizon. "Another few hours," I replied, the silence between our words humming with unasked questions. "Aurora and the Armada have secured a temporary base near the Fringe Worlds. It'll give us time to regroup and assess our next steps." Our comms crackled with the familiar voice of Cypher, his calm demeanor a steady presence amidst uncertainty. "We've got incoming data from the Watchers. They've been analyzing the rift's signature. There's something you should see." Petra and I shared a glance, curiosity piqued. "Bring it up," I instructed, and the main screen flickered to life with a cascade of information. Cypher's findings were displayed in a tapestry of light, the rift's energy patterns interwoven with streams of data. But amidst the chaos, a pattern emerged, a series of coordinates, scattered across the sector with deliberate precision. "What are those?" Petra asked, her analytical mind already piecing together the implications. "Points of convergence," Cypher replied, his tone laced with intrigue. "Each is a potential site where the Veil's fabric is weakest. These are not random, they're part of a larger design." A design premeditated and orchestrated. The realization hit me like a meteor storm. Someone, or something, was manipulating the very structure of our universe, and the implications were staggering. "We need to investigate," I said, a sense of urgency threading through my words. "If these sites are vulnerable, they might be targeted next." Petra nodded, her resolve sharpening. "We can't let that happen. The Veil's too important." As we altered course toward the nearest set of coordinates, the anglerfish vibrated with the energy of purpose. Our mission was clear, the stakes higher than ever before. The first site lay within a nebula dense with swirling gases and charged particles, a landscape of cosmic beauty concealing potential peril. As we entered its veil, the ship's sensors pinged with increased activity, the air crackling with an unseen tension. We navigated cautiously, the nebula's shifting tendrils a labyrinth of color and light. And then, through the haze, we saw them, remnants of a forgotten civilization, their structures half buried in the celestial fog, forgotten but not abandoned. "Ancient constructs," Petra murmured, her voice a blend of awe and surprise, "like the sanctuary but older." We landed the anglerfish on a stable outcropping, its hull settling with a soft thud that reverberated through my bones. As we disembarked, the atmosphere hummed with latent energy, the air thick with the promise of discovery. The structures loomed before us, their surfaces etched with symbols that seemed to pulse in response to our presence. A low hum resonated through the ground, a rhythm ancient and knowing. Cypher examined the inscriptions, his expression thoughtful. These are markers, gateways perhaps to other realms. The ancients used them to harness the veil's power. And someone's trying to reactivate them, I realized aloud, the pieces falling into place. But why? Our answers came in the form of shadows, figures materializing from the mists, their approach silent yet purposeful. They were humanoid, clad in armor that shimmered like liquid metal, eyes gleaming with an intelligence that spoke of both knowledge and warning. Guardians, Cypher identified, his stance both cautious and respectful. They've been here for eons, watching over these sites. One of the Guardians stepped forward, their voice a harmonic blend of tones. You are not the only ones who seek the veil's secrets, they intoned, the weight of truth in their words. Others have come, dangerous and relentless. The Syndicate, Petra asked, her voice edged with concern. The Guardian nodded, a solemn affirmation of our fears. They seek to control what cannot be owned. The veil is more than power, it is life, intertwined with the fate of all things. The implications were clear, the path before us fraught with challenge. The Syndicate's ambitions threatened not only our quadrant, but the very balance of existence. We have to stop them, I said, determination infusing my voice. Protect these sites and the veil itself. The Guardian regarded us with an intensity that pierced through the veil of time. Then you must become what you were meant to be, true guardians, stewards of the veil's legacy. With the Guardians as our allies, the journey ahead was set, a path through shadows and light, where the past and future converged in a single point of destiny. The anglerfish would sail once more, its course set by the call of the veil and the promise of the stars. And as we ventured forth, a new chapter unfolded, the universe waiting to reveal its secrets to those daring enough to seek them. Part 10. The Harmonies of Creation. The anglerfish sailed away from the ancient constructs and their solemn guardians, the call of our newfound purpose echoing through the ship's corridors. Petra, Cypher, and I stood in the cockpit, the weight of the mission settling into our bones with the gravity of a comet. You ever wonder if we're in over our heads? I asked, the question more than half rhetorical, my eyes following the stars that slipped by like forgotten dreams. Petra smirked, her fingers dancing over the controls with an ease that belied her nerves. Constantly, but then I remember the alternatives. Would you rather leave the universe in the hands of the Syndicate? Cypher, ever the quiet observer, nodded sagely. The Guardian spoke of harmony, of balance. We are but notes in a larger symphony, and the veil its conductor. Our next destination lay beyond the fringe worlds, a system rumored to be untouched by civilization's reach, a place where stars were born and time itself seemed to slow, cradled by the cosmos. As we approached, the anglerfish slipped into the system's embrace, its engines quieting to a purr beneath the celestial choir of new stars. The view was breathtaking, stellar nurseries aglow with the fires of creation, nebulas swirled in hues of violet and gold, and rogue planets drifted like lone sentinels. Cypher's voice was soft, reverent. These are the birthplaces of stars, where the universe renews itself. Petro adjusted the sensors, the ship responding with a hum of acknowledgement. There's something else here, she reported. Energy signatures, faint but consistent, it's like a beacon. Intrigued, we navigated the anglerfish toward the source, weaving through the cosmic tapestry with the grace of a practiced dancer. The beacon's signal drew us to a rogue planet, its surface a mosaic of shifting landscapes and volatile atmospheres. We landed on a plateau overlooking the planet's turbulent sky, where lightning tangled with auroras in a dance of electricity and light. The air thrummed with power, the ground vibrating beneath our feet with a rhythm that echoed the universe's pulse. The beacon, a crystalline spire, stood at the plateau's edge, its surface alive with swirling symbols and patterns reminiscent of the Echo obelisk. Its song resonated with the veil, a melody of creation and potential. Another ancient artifact, Cypher mused, his eyes tracing the spire's contours, more proof of the network that binds our reality. I approached the spire, its energy palpable, each step echoing with a sense of destiny. As I reached out, the symbols responded, glowing with a light that matched the rhythm of my heartbeat. Petra and Cypher watched, their anticipation a tangible presence. "Look," Petra breathed, pointing to the horizon where the sky seemed to split open, revealing a vista of stars and worlds layered upon each other. The spire was a gateway, the beacon a guide to the Veil's true reach, a network of realms and possibilities interconnected by threads of space and time. And at its heart, the promise of unity and balance, a harmony to counter the Syndicate's discord. "We need to share this with the Armada and the Watchers," I said, the enormity of our discovery settling over me. "If the Syndicate finds out, they'll stop at nothing to control it." Cypher nodded, his gaze thoughtful. "Harmony is not achieved through solitude. We must bring others into the fold, unite those who seek to protect what is sacred." As we prepared to leave, the spire pulsed with a final, powerful note, a farewell and a promise. The universe was listening, the stars in agreement as they bore witness to our pledge. Back aboard the anglerfish, we transmitted our findings to Aurora and the Watchers, their responses tinged with awe and determination. The relay station became our new focal point, a bastion of resistance where strategies were forged and alliances cemented. The Armada was invigorated by our discoveries, the promise of a united front against the Syndicate fueling their ambition. The Watchers, too, were inspired, their role as guardians reaffirmed in the face of emerging threats. Petra and I stood on the bridge, the anglerfish humming with purpose as we plotted our course through the tapestry of stars. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, the shadows of the Syndicate never far behind. But with knowledge came power, and with unity, the strength to forge a new future. The universe stretched before us, an infinite expanse of possibility and wonder. And as we sailed through its depths, I felt the harmonies of creation guiding us, the veil our constant companion, and the light of the stars our eternal beacon. Together we would protect the balance, our destinies intertwined with the cosmic dance. And with each step, each choice, we would write a new chapter in the saga of the stars, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dared to dream.